Hello friends, Tanya here for Trinity Stamps, and today I'm going to play with some Christmas baking. I haven't played with this stamp set yet, but I thought this would be the perfect time to pull it out and give it one last go before the Christmas season is over. I am not going to have another video for Trinity Stamps before Christmas, so this is my last Christmas themed until next year. I decided to color this fella kind of like an elf instead of like Santa, despite the bushy white beard. I chose several different two tones of Copic markers, and I'm just doing some simple shading and sometimes just simple one color coloring. He's going to have a slightly darker complexion. I'm using E17 and E13 for the skin tone here. And you could use a little R20 to add a little pinkness to the cheeks and the nose, but I think these tones have enough redness to them. I do want to make gingerbread cookies, so I'm using a couple of, I think I'm using E17 and YR24, I believe it is, to color the gingerbread. We'll have to take a peek when I get there. I did not do much holiday baking this year because we decided to go on a vacation with my brother the beginning of December. In fact, when this video goes live, I will be in the beautiful tropics of the Caribbean, and I won't regret it. My kids are all grown, and so they take care of Christmas with their families without me. There isn't that dependence on me to create all the festivities. So sometimes I get to go have fun on vacation and then come back to all of the family fun without having to do all of the extra family preparations. I do have to decorate my house a little bit and, of course, do all the Christmas shopping for the grandchildren and my children and their spouses. And then for our sets, okay, all right, I got to stop thinking about all of that because there's a lot of Christmas shopping I need to get done before Christmas comes around. It is amazing how quickly all of this comes up when we definitely know when Christmas is going to happen every single year. It just sneaks up on us. I do enjoy finding presents that fit the person that is going to receive it. I really don't like giving just generic presents unless it's a gift card, because you can always pick what you want with a gift card. Now this stamp set I think is perfect for adding tags to all of those cookie shares or exchanges that you might be participating in. I haven't done one in a long time simply because I don't want all of those extra cookies in my house because I will eat them. I don't have my horde of children who would devour all of the sweets like a what do they call them? The locusts, the swarm of locusts. Yeah, that's what it was like when I had anything yummy in the kitchen. The family would just devour them. They wouldn't last more than 24 hours. But at one point, there were 8 teenagers. Yes, 8 living in my home. That's a lot of hungry, high metabolism beings to have in one space. I would love to hear some of all of your great stories when it comes to Christmas and kids and food. There is a quick look at the completely colored image. I am going to stick it back in the Misty to crisp up the stamping. I really like to do this, but it's always a little nerve-wracking when you put it in, line it up, and put that stamp down. Sometimes you can have it all lined up and it still gets a wiggle, and then, oh, it's heartbreaking. Next, we're going to take the coordinating dies, and this is the Baking Spirits Bright stamp set. I know I keep calling it Christmas baking, but it's Baking Spirits Bright, which is actually one of the sentiments included in this stamp set, which I think is adorable. And again, perfect for that cookie exchange idea. I'm lining this die up around our lovely colored image, and I cut that out in my die cutting machine, and then I pulled out a sparkle pen There is actually a sparkle pen available in the Trinity shop. I believe it's a Nouveau shimmer pen. I will have that linked in the description box below. I got this particular sparkle pen in a kit at one point, and I've had it in my drawer for a while. You use whatever shimmer you got. We've even got the liquid pixie dust that you could use with a paintbrush. Next, I have stamped these sentiments in VersaFine Nocturne ink and then heat embossed them with clear embossing powder. And do you remember a few weeks ago when I did some techniques with the vintage tin tile foil plate and created these panels? One that's glimmer hot foiled over some lunar paste. And then I did another panel that I used the lunar paste again and then embossed with the vintage tin tile foiling plate. Well, this is that panel. This is a 5x7 card, and I have two panels that are cut to, I think the gold shimmer paper is cut to 4 3/4 by 4.5 by 6.5, and the other panel is 6 1/4 by 4 1/4, and I adhered those to the front of the card. Next, I took one of these Ruby Radiance packs of rhinestones that come in, I think there's 4 different sizes in here. Well, I'm only using one of these sizes. It is the second from the smallest. And I'm going to add those to the centers of each of those little tin tile designs throughout this panel. And I just wanted that extra pop of sparkle just to fill it out a little bit more. I wanted it to be just a little more special, which, wow, that's a whole lot of sparkle. I'm holding this up and I still don't think I went overboard, but it is very, very sparkly. Anything Christmassy should be super sparkly. I'm trying to tuck this one rhinestone under the wire whip, and I have to pull up on our image piece a little bit. I had already adhered this onto the card base, and I had added an extra layer of cardstock behind the main image and behind the sentiment to make those stand up just a little bit. We have, oh gosh, let me see if I can count these just for snickers and giggles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 20 gems, all the same size. And you will see that I barely touched the volume in this container of gems. Trinity Stamps is very generous in the embellishments packets. Next, we're going to use an oldie but a goodie. This is the Starstruck 6x6 stencil. I wanted there to be a continuation to the inside of the card, and since there is a star cookie and I have this star stencil, I thought I would add that to the inside. I'm just using some gathered twig distress oxide to stencil this on the inside of the card. I do end up adding a little tape here. Be smart, don't be like me. Tape it down to begin with because you think you can hold it down just fine, but yeah, really can't. It does start to shift. It doesn't really affect this overall because this did not have to be a really precise stenciling, just give you the rough image. And look at that. It is this beautiful array of stars, which I think could look like a spray of cookies. And we'll adhere the sentiment Baking Spirits Bright on the inside. I used every stamp in this stamp set on this card. On the front it says Christmas spice and everything nice, and inside it says Baking Spirits Bright. Next we're going to do some spritzing with a distressed mica stain, and this is the Wicked Elixir. I believe this is still available in the Trinity shop. This is one of the Halloween colors, but I love this green. It is such a nice pure green. And I totally covered a piece of 5.5 by 8.5 inch cardstock. Next, we're going to use the Slimline Tags, and I'm using the second to smallest die, and I'm going to cut it twice. So I have a front and a back for our tag. Now this would work perfect on that idea for cookie exchange. Now I've lined up one of my tags over the vintage tin tile, and we're using this to dry emboss again. I think this looks just stunning. Now I only did this on one of the tags that we're going to glue back to back, because it would be really hard to write a message or a to and from on that texture. But I wanted it to have a finished look and not have a white back that may or may not be smudged from the Distress mica stain. So now we're going to adhere an extra piece of cardstock on the back of our colored and die cut elf. I did color another one, and this time I left the red off of the hat, and I kept things just a little more simple. This one took me about half the time as the other one to color, and I think it still looks great. We'll adhere that to the front of this tag, and we'll take the shorter sentiment and add that right below it. I am using a little bit of extra dimension on the back of this. We'll adhere that right below our cute little guy. Put a heavyweight block on top of that to get those all to adhere nicely, especially since there is some texture here. Use some red striped baker's twine from my stash to add our tag top. And that is the second project. I hope you find this useful. I wonder if you even have any, well, I suppose the 16th of December, you probably do have some cookie exchanges happening. I hope you enjoyed this video. I really had a lot of fun doing this quick before I left on my trip. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to this channel. Leave me a comment. I would love to hear from you. And check that description box below for the products that I used today. Until next time, here are a couple more videos I thought you might enjoy. Bye-bye.